Păi frate, mi-a dat shutdown efectiv la strike, că m-am uitat la Semen Colby. Și chiar voiam să mă uit la ei gen cu alături de voi, dar se pare că nu pot. Și chiar n-am vrut să fac chestia asta, dar se pare că este imposibilă treaba respectivă. Este imposibilă toată treaba asta. Nu știu ce să zic, bă. Mersi frumos pentru like. Mulțumesc frumos, Mariana. Tocmai, da, am dat drumul. De ce? Pentru drepturi de autor, pentru că, da, ei au case au firme, au chestii de genul și în momentul în care eu tocmai am vrut să fac reacție la videoclipul lor, de la ce au fost? De la Semen Colby. De la ei. Și din păcate mă dau pe spate înapoi pe tot live-ul și trebuie să fac un alt live. După cum se vede și aici. Cât timp am reacționat la ăștia, când am început să reacționez la ăștia 20 de minute la ăștia, a dat down, frate. A picat, salut. N-am ce să fac, frate. Bine că te lasă. Bine că nu mi-am luat încă strike pentru asta. Dacă mi-a strike pentru asta, e problemă. E problemă pentru beginning. Chiar e problemă mare, frate. Mersi frumos pentru aprecieri. Da. Și, na, e nasol. Din păcate, nu o să pot să mă uit la ei în continuare. Deși mi-aș dori să mă uit alături de voi, se pare că o să mă uit off-camera la toată treaba respectivă. Nu, mâine seara merg după el. Dacă ajungea și el, era cu noi pe live în seara asta, mai mult ca sigur. Mai mult ca sigur. Bă, așa rău îmi pare că mi s-a închis live-ul de... Frate, nici nu ai idee, frate. Ce rău îmi pare, mă. Stai așa. Bă, nu o să am ce să fac decât eventual să intru să mă joc sau ceva, că la asta nu, sigur nu mai putem uita că se întâmplă efectiv același căcat. Vezi de la ăla de la Rogan dacă tot vrei să te uiți pe live, că povestesc ok băieții. Ok. Joe Rogan. Rogan nu cred că are copyright. Posibil să aibă. Sper să nu mai iau încă o dată. Ok, bun, bine că mi-ai dat link.
The Joe Rogan experience.
So tell me
Asta
about
a fost
Queen
cremele de
Mary.
prima oară.
That's the beginning for you guys.
That's the number. Anything here?
Yeah, like just trying
seeing
to
if
get something to
anything
happen
happened.
Right.
on camera, and nothing was happening. And so we're like, fine, I guess let's do this. Let's just like leave. Like it's fun to tell
Like,
the story.
you
Let's just
fucked.
leave. And so we turn off the camera, start packing up. We start walking towards the door, and as soon as we we're about to like get out of the room, the faucet turns on like full blast for 4 seconds, and then turns back off, and we all like actually like freeze and freak out.
Dați seama că-s
Two of our
curios să văd
roommates
de
that were there at the
tot
time,
ceea
like,
ce
just
s-a
immediately
întâmplat.
started, like crying.
Really
we
made me,
we
like,
ran in. We were
Boleu.
like, okay, how was that actually possible at all? Maybe that's a sign of like, and it doesn't want to be
stai,
filmed,
coaie, că am-
and it doesn't want us to leave. So maybe let's just
Ok. Am prea multe deschise cu aia, nu mai dusem.
not film this and try one more time, just for the heck of it. And so that's what we did, but this time it worked. And to like the weirdest extent, we just like put away all of our cameras. We sat in the most serious tone, saying like, okay, guys, like before this, didn't really believe. So like, if this is happening, let's have something happen. And so we all sit in the dark together, and we start calling out questions. And we're like, okay, like, is there anybody here? And we hear a knock. And so we're like, okay, maybe that's something.
Very faint though. It was like a tap.
Like a tap. And so we're like, okay, let's just run with that. Can you tap more than once?
O să mă uit
And
la
there's,
ce-a
like,
rămas pe
3
off
taps.
camera să mă
We're
uit
like,
dacă nu, că
Okay,
mi
this
se
is
pare
really weird.
foarte... Deci mie chestiile de genul chiar mi se pare extrem de interesante. Mi-ai scris, stai că mă uit.
Like, can we start asking questions?
And
And
how loud are you saying this? Like, is it possible that someone could have heard you from another room?
that's what we thought. So going, like, we were talking probably like this, but then there was times where we talk like really quiet. And like, we tested everything. But so what we did is we decided, let's ask questions using these taps. So we said, tap once for yes, tap anything more than once for no. We had a yes or no conversation for 35 minutes with something that we cannot explain. And we did everything because we were skeptical at this
Did you
point.
film any of this?
We didn't think so. But apparently,
Acasă
one of our
pa.
friends who's like
Noapte
super
bună, bro,
religious
take care.
was like, hey, no matter what, the entire night,
Te aștept acasă
he was
să jucăm
keeping
ceva
an
împreună.
audio recording in his pocket.
We had no idea.
We had no idea that he was doing that.
So nobody talked about it. So if there was something there, no, it didn't know either.
Yeah, we had no idea he had pulled that out. Like, we genuinely were like, okay, no one's filming. We even say in this audio recording, like, no one's filming. Like, this is no bullshit. Like, everyone, please, like, be serious about this. And so we had this conversation back and forth, and we tried to trick it. You know, like, we would ask questions in different manners, like, okay, is there more than one of you? Yes. And then we'd say, are you alone? And it would say no. Back and forth, trying to get this thing. And the story kept straight the entire time. And we were like, okay, come on, there could be someone like screwing with us. This is like on, you know, the news of being like haunted place.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Well, what was crazy about it too is all the knocks, they weren't just coming from one section. That would make sense if like maybe something outside was like tapping. These knocks would be like below us and then above us to our sides. Some would be louder than other ones. We went out to the hallway a couple times and we realized that we were like the last room besides like this like utility room to our left. And obviously we had like basically that whole like floor to ourselves as well since it was super late.
Yeah. And then like sometime in the middle, we were like, okay, like let's like ask a question under our breath.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like this thing does not want us to leave. And at that moment, the entire floor shook. Boom. Like, we were all like, oh my God, what was that? Was
You
something
could feel the vibration in your feet.
crashing on the ship or something? It was huge. And so we're like, okay, so this thing doesn't want us to leave. And maybe we should just like ask questions under our breath for the rest of the time, just so we know it's not some employee, it's not someone like screwing with us the entire time. So fast forward to the very end, we were like, okay, we've had a bunch of conversations. At this point, we really believe if this is truly something, I want to know something about something deeper than just yes or no questions or just like something silly of like how many people are here. So I decided, let's ask about religion. And I ask out, is there a heaven? And it knocks 3 times, meaning no. And at that point, our 2 religious friends that were there like immediately jumped up and said, we have to leave right now.
And we had no idea
We're
why.
like, why? What's going on? Like, I'll tell you in the car. Like, dude, like, just don't look back. Let's go. Let's leave. And so we
Shit.
walked out. We left. We got all the way to the car without anyone saying anything. And as soon as we got in the car, we're like, what's going on? Like, why do we have to leave? He's like, well, in the Christian religion, anything like demonic or evil is supposed to, like, basically disprove that there is a heaven in order, you know. And so what they were saying is like, we don't think this is some like spirit or something paranormal there. We think it was something that was trying to lead you away from heaven
Yeah,
or Christianity.
demonic territory type thing. But that also just depends on what you believe in. Obviously, like our roommates were very, very Christian, very religious. And so when they heard the knocks saying no, they thought it was just kind of like a sign from like a demon to like steer us away from God, saying like this does not exist. And so they without question ran before we could even, like we kind of were wanting to stay there to ask more things.
It was
but-
really interesting
Because
because
this is your first experience with
First
anything
experience.
paranormal.
well,
Yeah.
first very believable one. There has been plenty of times where we hear things or like, you know, things are scary.
in like the abandoned places,
abandoned
but they're also decrepit old places that
Right.
creak and stuff.
Yeah, old dark places make you freak out.
Exactly. This is
Yeah.
the first conversation we should say that we've had.
So, up until that point, did you believe in ghosts before? And like, what is the feeling like when you have to sort of process the end of that day?
So that was a monumental change in not only like our career, but also like our at least my like thought process in life. Because yes, I had the idea that maybe something else is out there. Like I had grown up a Christian, but at that time we'd gone to so many scary places. We'd you know tackled a bunch of like life questions, philosophical questions throughout our time together, and we're like, okay, like after asking about it, like for me, I was like losing like faith in something else. I was like, okay, maybe we're just the only things out here. And after that moment, I had like a full on like breakdown the next day. I was like everything that I had thought was not real now becomes real. And I had like pretty much lost any sort of like faith at that point. But there's even a video of me online, like sitting on my bedroom floor, like crying to camera, saying like I truly didn't believe, and now this instance opens up this whole world. Like maybe I don't immediately believe 100%, but the question of if there's something else out there is now back in my brain, and I want to chase that. And so after the whole arrest and going to the Honda stuff, that was like, it wasn't necessarily we were like 1,000% believers the second we like had this experience, but it was so intriguing because it was one of those things that we couldn't explain. We told this story so many times, and the audio of this actually happening, the Knox, is online. So many people don't believe it because they weren't there, and we wouldn't believe it if we weren't there. And so we understand that people don't believe us when we talk about these things.
Yeah.
However, just the idea that it could be real and the idea that it could happen again is what's so intriguing and is why we got into it. And we're like, okay, if we can just keep doing this and keep getting more and more proof, like that feeling of hope of like, okay, there is something else out there. And it is not just, okay, we're just going to live and die here on the planet.
Yeah.
It's so special.
No matter what you believe in, no matter what religion you have, it's like we realized that experience for us, it taught us that there is something else. It's more spiritual than anything.
Faptul căutarea asta în fantome și așa mai departe, îți dă răgazul de te-a gândi că, bă, în momentul în care mor nu s-a terminat, e ceva dincolo după ce ai murit și este o chestie care multor oameni le dă foarte mult de gândit și se sperie de toată treaba asta, frate, că, bă, mori și gata. Nothing else to live for, or, I don't know, chestii de genul, gen, nu mai e nimic. Dar de fapt când sunt chestii de genul,